What's going on, guys? Today I want to show you how to write an SEO optimized blog post that increases your traffic to your website and provides sales for you. So today I'm going to talk about two specific blog posts. One is the how-to blog post. The other one is the what is blog post. So for the how-to blog post, whether it's how to make chicken farm or how to start a business, people are searching how to do things on Google all the time. And you can help those people out with a how-to blog post. They provide your readers with a step-by-step guide to doing, anything. These blogs are also an amazing opportunity for your company to position itself as customer-focused and selfless, as you're laying out a tactical approach to fixing a problem or addressing a need without asking for anything in return. This helps make your brand synonymous with trust. Writing these posts can also help your blog rank for Google's featured snippet, the box that appears in Google search results with a few dozen words answering the question. You can see an example of this below. Here's a how to use Facebook Live, and it shows a box using with steps on how to use Facebook Live. So I'm going to provide a template of sorts so you can start writing your blog post and have all the necessary tools you need to actually start writing this. So first, we're going to cover analytics. So if you're submitting this to a publisher, it is paramount to include the keyword monthly search volume, and data like that. So your client knows that you've done the research, you've done the math, and figured out what works best. So on the analytics, we've got the keyword, obviously, right? What keywords are your readers going to search for most so that your blog post will rank higher on Google? The keyword monthly search volume is an important part to add to that because it shows what the click rate is, how many people are searching this, and what words are going to be targeted most. You're going to include your name, the due date, and then the publish date. What is your publish date that you want this blog post to go live? And then the buyer persona, which is one of the most important pieces. Who are you targeting? What customers, what readers, what clientele is your blog post going to go after and solve their problem? Let's get started with the actual blog post. You want your title, obviously, right? And the title should start with how to, and then do something, right? It should run for 60 characters or less. It should be short and sweet, get right to the point. Just like in the example above, how to use Facebook Live. That was 5 words, and it really gave over the point. You know exactly what the article is going to be about, and so you're going to click on it because it'll answer that exact question you have. Don't be broad with this, be as specific as possible, but don't run a long title. In the introduction, you want to lead into the post with a short 100 to 200 word introduction. Be sure to highlight the reason why what you're talking about is important. Who or what industry does this apply to? And then what you'll be covering in the blog posts. So in this post, we'll explain why this term is important, explain how to use this term, and provide maybe 8 suggestions if you're new to this term. The first part of your blog post then is going to be to actually define the term. What is it and why does it matter? Some readers may have no idea what it is you're trying to explain how to do. Obviously, if what you're writing about is well known, you can more or less skip the definition, although it's good to include it nonetheless. After defining the term, explain why it's important for the reader to understand the idea and to know how to do what you're writing about. Next section is the how to do the task. So this section is going to be the bulk of your writing, and it's going to be probably the most important part of your blog post because you actually break down the instructions how to perform the task. Make sure to break up the instructions by sections, and that lets you include visual aids for each step as needed in the form of images, videos, GIFs, etc. But it's important to remember to be clear, concise, and accurate in the steps you provide your readers. Any extra fluff to the article may confuse them, which would result in some readers not achieving the results they intended. Now, if what you're explaining how to do is solve an equation, for example, how to calculate break-even, provide a step-by-step explanation and example of how to calculate the rate, point, or number you're explaining how to reach. You need to show all of your work so the reader can follow along easily. The next step is more or less optional, but it's the tips and reminders for performing this task, right? If you're breaking down a difficult concept, some readers may still feel overwhelmed and unsure of their ability to tackle it. So in this section, you're going to break down a few suggestions on how to best approach the concept. This is not a list post, so keep the short list to 3 to 5 pieces of advice. Next is the closing section. You need to wrap up your blog post with a great closing. You need to remind your readers of the key takeaway you want them to walk away with and consider pointing them to other resources you have on your website. So for example, for me, right, because I'm doing this video, right, imagine I wrote a blog post on how to write SEO optimized blog posts. I could say, now that you've figured out how to write a blog post, hey, look, I've got more resources for you on my website, okmantzfw.com, where you can check out other content, other tips and tricks on how to copywrite. The last part is a call to action. If you've seen my other videos, I always stress the call to action a lot, because this is the part, this is the component that turns your readers into paying customers. That's so important. If you're trying to bring sales and leads to your website, you need to have a call to action. You need to tell people exactly what you want them to do, because otherwise they're going to walk away more knowledgeable, but not giving you their money. So place a call to action at the bottom of your blog post. This should be to a lead generating piece of content or to a sales focused landing page for a demo or consultation. For example, if your product or service helps your readers to do what it is they searched how to do, or if you have a template in your content resource library that does what they searched how to do, that would be a perfect call to action for this post. Last but not least, there's a checklist before publishing. So before you send this out, before you actually publish this, make sure you have all these components, right? Did you provide a clear, actionable step to accomplish the task you need help with? Did you provide relevant and accurate facts and stats to prove your understanding of the concept? Did you emphasize the importance of understanding this concept if it's not already well known? And then just some more general notes, right? Did you properly cite and backlink your sources? Did you spell check and proofread? Are there at least 1 to 2 images? And is the post 800 to 1,000 words at minimum? Those are important things to look at just to make sure your blog post is professional and really ready to be published. Now, the second blog I'm going to cover is how to write a what is blog post. Now, this is closely related to how to write a how-to blog post, but it's slightly different. There's slightly different components. So how often do you find yourself typing what is something into Google, right? Every day people have questions like what is the best time to post on Instagram? What is the news today? What's going on? The what is blog post is tightly related to how to. And so again, for the analytics piece, you want your keyword monthly search volume, author, due date, publish date, and then the buyer persona, right? Who are you targeting? Who's the targeted reader? The blog post again, right? Make sure the title starts with what is this time instead of how to. What is this thing? And again, runs for 60 characters or less. Now in the intro, you want this to be short, 100 to 200 words. And then you're going to want to be sure to highlight the reason why what you're talking about is important. And then again, who or what industry does this apply to? Are you targeting? What you'll be covering, right? In this post, we'll define this term, show a few examples of how it's used, and provide, again, 8 best practices for getting started. The first section, similar to the how-to section, is what is the term? What are you actually targeting? So answer the question posed by the title of this post directly below this header. This will increase your chances of ranking for the featured snippet on Google for this phrase and provide readers with an immediate answer. Keep the length of this definition, at least in this very basic instruction, between 50 and 60 words. Then you're going to want to define why it's important. Why is this term important? You need to provide your readers with a few reasons why they should care about the term or the concept you're writing about. If this is a consumer level concept, talk about the implications this could have on their businesses, finances, and personal happiness. Right? If you're writing for an audience of professionals, mention the impact this term or concept has on profit or efficiency or customer satisfaction. To make the most of this section, you really want to make sure to include at least one statistic, quote, or outside reference. You want to back this up with some data and research. Now, in the next section, you're going to want to include one of these next 3 steps. First, you want to include how to calculate this term, right? This section only applies for posts about math and equations. So if you're talking about the stock market, finances, how to calculate rate, point, or numbers, you're providing a definition for that. The next option would be real examples of this term. So if you feel like it would benefit your readers, list a few examples of the concept you're explaining into action. You can elevate the section by embedding images, videos, and or social media posts. Remember, this post is not a list post, just like the how-to. So try to keep this list between 3 and 5 examples if you do decide to include them. The next option would be tips and reminders, right? Again, just like the how-to post, when breaking down a difficult concept or definition, some readers may still feel overwhelmed and unsure of their ability to address it. So break down a few best practices on how to approach this concept and make sure that they know how they can succeed in what they're doing. Then you want your closing. You want to wrap up your blog post. Again, remind your readers of the key takeaway you want them to walk away with and consider pointing them to other resources you have on your website. And then again, call to action. Last but not least, you need to place a call to action, either a button or words or another paragraph. This should be to a lead generating piece of content or to a sales focused landing page for demo or consultation. Again, if people are just reading this and not taking anything away, you're doing something wrong. So this call to action really drives home the point that, hey, there's more options. If you want to learn more about this, I've got you covered. We've got the resources for you to learn more about this. And then the checklist before publishing. Similar to the how-to blog post, you need to make sure you define the term and explain the concept in terms that your buyer persona will understand. You need to provide relevant and accurate examples and statistics. And then again, just general info. Did you properly cite and backlink? Did you spell check and proofread? Are there at least 1 to 3 images? Is the post 800 to 1,000 words at minimum? If you follow this checklist and if you follow the template, you're going to write an SEO optimized blog post, and you're going to send this in to your client, to your customer, and they're going to love it because you've done the research, you've done the math, you've checked the numbers, right? You found the keywords that work best. You put in the monthly search volume. You've got a clear structure about your topic, right? Make sure to include the headers, introduction, what is this term, why is it important, and then what are the action steps you can take. And your blog will be organized, it will be clear, it will be concise. That's a big thing. You need to be concise in your words. It shouldn't be something long, right? People are going to this not to sit down for 2 hours to read your blog post, but to find a quick solution for a problem, right? How to fix a chair, how to fix a bed. They're not wanting to spend hours reading on how to do it. They want a quick solution. So make sure it's concise. And then the checklist will really make sure that you did the most and that your work is publishable and that your work is the best it can be. So thanks guys, thanks for watching. Please check out my other videos on my YouTube channel. Search Owen Mantz Copywriting. Check out my website. I really do have other resources available, like an ultimate guide to freelance writing. I've got some templates for you, whether it's building LinkedIn connections and proposal templates. And I've also got one-on-one consultations if you want to sit down and have a meeting with me, so that we can work out together how you can succeed and how you can grow your business. Check that out. Check out my website. It's all linked in the video. It's linked to my channel. I hope this was helpful, guys. Leave some comments, reviews. Make sure to subscribe, and I'll see you next time.